Hello. Welcome to whatever this is, show, podcast, whatever the heck this is. There's Joe. Oh, he's not going to be here tonight. I'm going to be on my own, I guess, unless there's other viewers that want to jump in and, get in the comment section. But, yeah, that's going to make for a fast show there, Joe, if you're not watching, because I'm just going to barrel through if I got nobody to talk to. Just going to be talking to myself, throwing in comments and trying to throw something funny in once in a while. Enjoy Micro Center getting your computer fixed again. We're gonna have to do a crowdfunding, get you a computer. That computer is giving you nothing but problems lately. So, but yeah, enjoy that, buddy. Yeah. So anyone else that's here, welcome to the show, or like I said, podcast, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I'm your host, as you know, the only guy here. Used to be two of us, now it's just one. Welcome to it. I got a few things to talk about this week. I'm going to talk about that little comment that Trump made about Biden, the Biden Gestapo. I thought that was kind of funny, so we'll talk about that. Also, Unfrosted. If you know about this movie, this is a Jerry Seinfeld movie on Netflix. He just released it. I guess he shot it over the pandemic, so and now it's finally been released. We'll review it, talk about it a little bit. That was funny, cleverly written, some clever stuff in it. It's not like crazy laugh out loud funny, but it has its moments. We'll discuss. Also, Boeing is set to launch their Starlink spacecraft tonight. I think 10 o'clock or something like that. 10:23, I think it is actually, Eastern. So we'll see how that goes. That's some new and interesting stuff there. Also, we had an end to those silly campus protests. Thank God. Those clowns. There's probably a few holdouts, but for the most part, it's over. They went away, much like they came in. Trying to get universities to, stop backing Israel. Like, how stupid! Come on. Anyways, we'll talk about that. Also, China's got a really, really cheap EV car. I mean, very cheap, under 5,000 US cheap. So we're going to talk about that. And last night, so Sunday, May the 5th, I guess, there was a roast of Tom Brady on Netflix. Quite funny. If you didn't catch it, you should have. It was good. You missed it, but I mean, you can go and check it out now after the fact. But very, very funny. I will talk about that, discuss all the good parts and little bits and pieces of that, and yeah, we'll see what we think. If you're watching now and you haven't already, do hit the subscribe. That does help small channels like mine. If you do like the content, if you don't like the content, well, heck, go away. That's fine. I won't be hurt. My feelings won't be hurt. Also, share, comment, like, do all those kinds of things. Engagement. It's engagement. Engagement helps the channel, helps all small channels, helps all channels on YouTube altogether. So if you do like the content, you do want me to continue to do this, let me know by doing all those things. Also, if you do miss any part of the podcast or show at any point, and you want to catch it after the fact, you don't want to go through the whole podcast again, you can see small bits during the week. From Tuesday to Sunday, I generally at 5 o'clock, I'll post each segment. You can catch that, obviously share, like, that kind of thing. And yeah, so, do what you can to help me still be here. Every bit of money that I make from this, goes back into it. There's no money. I'm not making any money. So yeah, let's get on this, since I have nobody in the chat right now. So, all right, let's get to the first thing here. All right, queued up. So Trump made a nice comment about Gestapo, and the media is all over it. I'm gonna read this article. This is Yahoo News, so it's just gonna be a dumpster fire. But hey, let's give Yahoo News a shot here, because I don't think anybody else is reading them, so I'll read them for him. Here we go. Trump says Biden is running as a Gestapo administration. It's his latest reference to Nazi Germany. I love how they say that, like his latest reference to Nazi Germany, as if Nazi Germany hasn't been referenced for the last, I don't know, whatever, since Trump was first president, basically for the last 8-9 years. But it's only relevant when Trump says something about it. So Donald Trump told Republican donors at his Florida resort this weekend that President Joe Biden is running a Gestapo administration. In case you didn't know what Gestapo is, Gestapo were the police, the Nazi police during Nazi-occupied Germany, that would go around doing the bidding of the Nazi party. So rounding up Jews, that kind of thing, right? So nasty stuff. So obviously him saying that, he's trying to say that, they're a defunct and irreparable, whatever, a disgusting police force, essentially. In the latest example of the former president employing the language of Nazi Germany in his campaign rhetoric, like just those lines already, his campaign rhetoric. The remarks Saturday at Mar-a-Lago were described by people who attended the event and spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss, or anonymity, to discuss the private session. The Gestapo comment, one person said, came as Trump renewed his complaint that Biden's White House is behind the multiple criminal prosecutions of the presumptive GOP nominee, including his ongoing hush money and fraud trial in New York, joke trial, in additional cases stemming from his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Wow. Geez, yeah, he was really getting on board. The Gestapo was the secret police force of the Third Reich that squelched political opposition generally and specifically, and targeted Jewish people for arrest during the Holocaust. Republican Governor Doug Burgum of North Dakota, appearing Sunday on CNN's State of the Union. Oh, yeah. Okay, of course, that's relevant. Essentially confirmed Trump's statement, but tried to diminish its importance. This was a short comment deep into the thing that wasn't really central to what he was talking about, said Burgum, who was among the contenders to be Trump's running mate. Okay, well, of course he's going to support him then, obviously. Burgum affirmed that Trump drew the parallel as part of his accusation that Biden's White House is behind his legal troubles. A majority of Americans, Burgum said, feel like the trial that he's in right now is politically motivated. Of course it is. Come on. Obviously it's politically motivated. The timing, like, they couldn't have tried him for this kind of stuff years and years and years ago. It has to be now. F out of here. The New York Times first reported Trump's comments after obtaining an audio recording at the Mar-a-Lago event. These police are running a Gestapo administration, Trump told GOP donors, according to the newspaper. It's the only way they're going to win. Biden's re-election campaign blasted the reference. Trump is once again making despicable and insulting comments about the Holocaust, while in the same breath attacking law enforcement. It's fine when the Democrats are calling everybody a Nazi, but when he's saying that the Biden government is basically running a Gestapo, well, that's a bridge too far, apparently. Celebrating political violence and threatening our democracy, said James Singer, spokesman for the Democrats' campaign, in a statement. Trump's campaign did not immediately respond to an Associated Press request for comment. The AP has not obtained audio of Trump's speech at the fundraiser. Previously in the 2024 campaign, Trump has called political opponents vermin and said, sorry, that's funny, and said migrants who cross the U.S.-Mexico border are poisoning the blood of our country. Rhetoric that echoes Adolf Hitler's statements during his authoritarian rule of Germany. So it's fine when they're referencing, Hitler and Germany and and all that. But when he's saying Gestapo, not good. Like, hypocrisy is real, people. I know nothing about Hitler, Trump insisted in a December interview on conservative talk radio. I have no idea what Hitler said other than what I've seen on the news. And that's a very entirely different thing than what I'm saying. A second person who was at Mar-a-Lago this weekend described to the AP a stem-winding luncheon appearance in which Trump mixed his grievances with optimistic GOP cheerleading. Speaking for at least 90 minutes, Trump promised the gloves are coming off against Biden. The second Republican recalled. At another point, Trump called up several GOP congressional figures to the stage and referred to the many Republicans vying to be his vice president pick. They're lining up and begging, Trump said, according to one attendee. Several presumed contenders circulated in the crowd and were given strategic speaking roles or lead panel discussions. Among the standouts, the Republicans said, were Republican Senators Tim Scott of South Carolina, Marco Rubio of Florida, and J.D. Vance of Ohio. Okay, that's enough of this. Yeah, so So Trump says stuff. Who cares, man? He says funny stuff. And yeah, if you don't have to agree with him about mostly anything, but I think everybody kind of sees this is a political persecution. They're just trying to get him to stop running for president. If he stopped running, I guarantee all these trials, all this stuff, it would just all go away. But anything they can to destroy him. But the minute he says something like this, it's like, oh, he's bringing up Nazi stuff. Well, it seemed to be okay when you were doing it, so I think it's okay for everybody. All right. Let me get on to the next thing here. I'm going to blast through tonight. Oh, Joe distracted me. All right. So if you haven't seen it yet, Unfrosted is Jerry Seinfeld's new movie on Netflix. It's pretty good. I'm going to read this article. This is IGN. They're doing a little bit of a review on it. I don't think I fully agree. I kind of pre-read this a little bit, but let's see what they have to say. So, Unfrosted review, you can leave Jerry Seinfeld's first movie as writer, star, and director on the shelf. So obviously, right away, they're trying to say it's not very good, but here we go. The biggest joke in Unfrosted is the one told before single frame rolls. Can you believe they made a movie about the creation of Pop-Tarts? It's a sort of rhetorical question that has served Jerry Seinfeld very well throughout his career as a stand-up sitcom star and comedian in Cars Getting Coffee. But it's also one that Seinfeld asks half-heartedly in his first outing as a movie director. A few too many shrugs and long stretches between laughs leave this Netflix comedy feeling limp and lifeless. And there's only so much a very recognizable supporting cast of Melissa McCarthy, Hugh Grant, Jim Gaffigan, and Amy Schumer can do to restore Unfrosted's lost crunch. That's pretty thick. Okay. I'm going to give you a quick synopsis before I go read any further. So obviously the movie takes place back in the 60s. It's basically Kellogg's, which Jerry Seinfeld is I don't know what his role is with the company. I guess maybe marketing, senior marketing director or something like that. And they're in a war with Post. So if you know cereal, you know Kellogg's and Post. And they're trying to figure out how to make basically a Pop-Tart, but it's a milkless breakfast item, whatever. So it's hokey, obviously. The whole thing's hokey and it's funny, but this is trying to say, like, I don't know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say like it's not clever enough, or it's not it's supposed to be stupid. It's got stupid humor in there. Anyways, all right, I'll read a little further. Within its exaggerated telling of a true corporate-approved story, somebody had to sign off on the big red K stamped all over this thing. Unfrosted builds a gloriously cockamamie sandbox in which the Kellogg's and Post breakfast dynasties are the Montagues and Capulets of Battle Creek, Michigan, and the fight to perfect a shelf-stable toaster pastry is akin to the geopolitical grappling of global superpowers. Oh my God. Who wrote this? Okay, guys. The landscape of this sugar-frosted world is dotted with scenes of inspired lunacy, wall-to-wall slapstick mishaps at a NASA training facility. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, they actually kind of make fun of the moon landing and stuff like that, which is, whether it's a hoax or it's not, it's kind of funny. The landscape of this sugar-frosted world is dotted with scenes of inspired lunacy, wall-to-wall slapstick mishaps at a NASA training facility, or a Pop-Tart engineer who died on the job and is buried with full cereal honors. Imagine an open grave filled with milk surrounded by Rice Krispies mascots, Snap, Crackle, and Pop, and Scottish bagpipe get-ups. Unfrosted knows how silly this all looks and sounds, but it can't resist the urge to poke at it and undermine its cartoon logic, a task that frequently falls to Seinfeld himself in his role as Kellogg's exec, Bob Cabana. During the aforementioned funeral sequence, after Cornelius the Cornflakes rooster lowers the casket in the ground, but before Toucan Sam sings Ave Maria, the widow turns to Bob and asks, "Did you plan this?" All Bob can offer back is a deflating, "I don't know." So the scene they're talking about, it's stupid, but it's kind of funny. Anyways, this is pretty thick. Let me see what they come up with at the end here. Okay, so the verdict says Unfrosted is more clever than it is funny. It's kind of, I agree with that. It is more clever than funny. It's not going to make you laugh out loud, but it's very clever. The first film written by, directed by, and starring Jerry Seinfeld takes the comedian's well-established obsession with the inconsequential things, in this case a staple of a complete breakfast, and blows it up to fit several types of big screen epics. But Seinfeld lacks the deft directorial hand to effectively skewer cinematic depictions of the space race, the Cold War, and organized crime, and the script, co-written by Spike Fairstein, Andy Robin, and Barry Martyr, hardly serves enough memorable zany material to its cavalcade of comedic or comic all-stars for them to make a balanced meal. Oh my god, this is so thickly written. somebody should just like, this is a bad review. When your review is just thick and hard to get through, it's rough. Okay, IGN, throw your review in the garbage. It's pretty bad. Watch the movie. You'll see. It's actually quite good. I mean, it's for what it is. It's not going to make you laugh out loud all the time, but there's a couple parts that do. But it's cute and it's clever. It's a good movie. It's worth watching for sure. Don't read this stupid review by IGN. Just go see it for yourself. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right. Let me get on the next thing here. Okay. All right. So Boeing is finally going to launch their Starlink spacecraft tonight, actually, in a couple hours from now. It'll be the inaugural launch. They have two astronauts on board. They're going to bring them up to the space station. So effectively, maybe the space race is on. NASA's getting back into it with Boeing. So, a few different players. I'm going to read this article here. This is CNN, so we know what I think about the Clown Network here. But let's see what they have to say about this. Boeing Starliner is hours away from launching 2 astronauts on long-awaited mission. Here's what's at stake. Okay. So 2 NASA astronauts have reached the final hours before a long-awaited launch attempt aboard Boeing's Starliner capsule, marking the first crewed mission of the brand new spacecraft. Starliner, which the aerospace giant designed to rival SpaceX's prolific Crew Dragon capsule, is set to take off for its inaugural crewed test run at 10:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. Space Force Station. I like how they put that in there. NASA will webcast the event in its channels beginning at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Monday. CNN will carry live updates of the mission online shortly before liftoff. Weather or technical issues can always force a rocket launch to scrub all the way up until the countdown clock strikes 0, but the forecast for this evening is as good as it gets. Weather officials have said there's only a 5% chance that clouds, winds, or storms will interrupt tonight's takeoff. That's good. Usually it's a lot higher than that, and they've actually right in the last minute have canceled launches. So, there's 2 people on this thing, so you want it to be safe. This mission, dubbed the Crew Flight Test, could be the final major milestone before NASA deems Boeing's spacecraft ready for routine operations as part of the federal agency's Commercial Crew Program. The Starliner would join SpaceX's Crew Dragon in NASA's push to collaborate with private industry partners, expanding the United States' options for ferrying astronauts to the International Space Station. The mission crew members are veteran astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, each of whom has ventured to space on 2 previous journeys aboard NASA's Space Shuttle and Russian Soyuz missions. They're checking out a lot of the systems, the life support, the manual control, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson said during a Friday news conference. That's why we put 2 test pilots on board, and of course the resumes of Butch and Sonny are extensive. This would mark only the 6th maiden voyage of a crewed spacecraft in U.S. history, Nelson noted. It started with Mercury, then with Gemini, then with Apollo, the Space Shuttle, then SpaceX's Dragon, and now Starliner. Williams will also become the first woman ever to join such a mission. What to expect? If all goes to plan, the crew will board the Starliner capsule and lift off on a Atlas V rocket Monday night. The spacecraft carrying the astronauts will break away from the rocket after reaching orbit and begin firing its own engines. The Starliner will spend more than 24 hours gradually making its way to the space station, where the vehicle is expected to dock at 12:46 a.m. Eastern Wednesday. Okay, so what's this say? Boeing versus SpaceX. Okay, much is riding on a smooth test flight NASA has been waiting half a decade for Starliner to begin flying crew, and the development of Starliner was beset by years of delays, setbacks, and blunders. More broadly, Boeing as a company has suffered years of scandals in its aircraft division that have tarnished the legacy aerospace giant's brand. We got through a pretty rigorous process to get here, said Mark Nappy, Vice President and Starliner Program Manager at Boeing. It's the development process during the Friday briefing, and really where my source of confidence comes from is going through that process. If successful, the crew test flight could queue up Boeing to begin flying routine trips to the space station on NASA's behalf. So this gets them in the race. That's about it. That's about all I can take of a CNN article. But hey, that's cool. I mean, this is kind of heating up. If you're into this kind of thing, and you should be. This is space is the next frontier, right? If you believe we can actually travel through space, it's nice to see other companies get in there, because the more they get in, if it's just SpaceX or even Blue Horizon, the other one, Bezos' little company there. If it's just those two kind of fighting for it, it's doesn't seem to be as legitimate. When you start getting other players in there, like NASA's now got Boeing going up there for them, it adds a little bit more legitimacy to it. So I think it's a good thing. I don't know. I want to see us up in space. So let me know what you think in the comments. All right. Ooh, we're just blasting along. What am I at? 22 minutes. Beautiful. I'm going to get out nice and early. Okay. Let's get on this next thing here. So it looks like those stupid campus protests are finally over. Thank God. I've been waiting for these stupid things to end. I'm going to read this article from the Toronto Star. I'm going to throw a little bone at one of our Canadian friends' articles here. Here we go. So, striking deals to end campus protests. Some colleges invite discussion of their investments. New York. Okay. So, anti-war demonstrations ceased this week at a small number of U.S. universities after school leaders struck deals with pro-Palestinian protesters, fending off possible disruptions of final exams and graduation ceremonies. The agreements at schools, including Brown, Northwestern, and Rutgers, stand out amid the chaotic scenes and 2,400 plus arrests on 46 campuses. Love it. Love hearing that. Arrest these little pricks. Nationwide since April 17th. Tent encampments and building takeovers have disrupted classes at some schools, including Columbia and UCLA. Deals included commitments by universities to review their investments in Israel, as if it's any of their fucking. It's none of your business. Stay out of it. Just go to school, get good grades, and shut up. Or hear calls to stop doing business with the longtime U.S. ally. Many protester demands. Let me try that again. Many protester demands have zeroed in on links on the Israeli army as the war grinds on in Gaza. I got through it. The agreements to even discuss divestment mark a major shift on an issue that has been controversial for years, with opponents of a long-running campaign to boycott Israel saying it veers into anti-Semitism. But while the colleges have made concessions around amnesty for protesters and funding for Middle Eastern studies, they have made no promises about changing their investments, as they shouldn't have to. It's none of your business what they're investing in. We should be worried about what they're charging for tuition, not what they're investing their money in. I think for some universities, it might be just a delaying tactic to diffuse the protests, said Ralph Young, a history professor who studies American descent at Temple University in Philadelphia. The end of the semester is happening now, and maybe by the time the next semester begins, there's a ceasefire in Gaza. Some university boards may never even vote on divesting from Israel, which can be a complicated process, Young said. And some state schools have said they lack the authority to do so. But Young said dialogue is better tactic than arrests, which can inflame protesters. Oh, don't want to inflame those protesters. Just arrest them, get them off the campus, or expel them. Tell them you're gonna do that kind of thing. You're gonna expelled. I don't understand. Talking at least gives the protesters the feeling that they're getting somewhere, he said. Whether they are getting somewhere or not is another question. So imagine somebody coming and sitting on your lawn, and maybe it's a word. Let's frame it this way. Somebody works for you. You have a company, and somebody works for you, and they start protesting where you're going to invest your money. as let's say you're the owner, CEO, or whatever, and they start protesting what you're going to do. They say they're going to stop, they're going to stop general operations of your business, as if we should allow that kind of thing. Realistically, universities and colleges, they're just businesses. They're just big businesses at this point. So the idea that a student that goes there is able or has any right to do so, has any stake in the game to say that they're gonna protest to stop them from investing where they want to invest. Fuck out of here. We live in a crazy, weird world. All right, I'll read some more. Israel is called to protest anti-Semitic. Its critics say the country uses such allegations to silence opposition. Although some protesters were caught on camera making anti-Semitic remarks or violent threats, protest organizers, some of whom are Jewish, have called it a peaceful movement to defend Palestinian rights and protest the war. That's fine if you want to defend Palestinian rights and protest the war. That's fine, but you shouldn't be able to do that at a university that you're a student at and then disrupt the university and just get away with it. If I were running that university, I'd just expel them. I'd be like, all right, we don't want you here anymore. Here's your tuition back. Get out of here. Administrators at the University of California, of course it's California though, Riverside announced an agreement Friday with protesters to close their campus encampment. The deal included the formation of a task force. Ooh, we're going to form a task force to explore removing Riverside's endowment from the broader UC systems management and investing those funds in a manner that will be financially and ethically sound for the university, with consideration to the companies involved in arms manufacturing and delivery. They're just placating to them at this point. We're going to put a task force together. Okay, we're really going to take a look. We're going to deep dive. We're going to get under the hood. We're going to get a real look and see what's going on there. We're going to really start considering, thinking about divesting in the way that you want us to do it. Good job. The announcement marked an apparent split with the policy of the 10-campus UC system, which last week said it opposes calls for boycott against and divestment from Israel. While the university affirms the right of our community members to express diverse viewpoints, a boycott of this sort impinges on the academic freedom of our students and faculty and the unfettered exchange of ideas on our campuses, the system said in a statement. UC tuition and fees are the primary funding sources for the university's core operations. None of these funds are used for investment purposes. Whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. How about that? All right, that's enough of that. Thanks, Star, for that decent report. What do you think? You happy about these protests ending? As happy as I am? Because I just think it's all nonsense. I think any of these kinds of protests are nonsense. I thought all the George Floyd ones were, the defund the police ones were, these ones are. The protests in general, I think, are kind of nonsense, unless it directly affects you. Now, like, protesting your government for getting into a war that maybe you don't want them to or whatever. Okay, but there's a way to go about it. I don't think this was the way to go about it. All right, let me get on the next one here. 29. I'm under 30 minutes, and I'm through 4. Jeez, man. I am motoring. No distractions. A couple viewers, nobody's saying anything, but okay. Continue to enjoy the show. All right, let me get on the next one here. So China has a really cheap EV now. So they're in the EV market, obviously, as everybody's in this space somehow. But China has they're really kind of crushing it with this one. So I don't know how good this vehicle is, but it's cheap as hell. I'm going to read this article here. This is carnewschina.com. So that's aptly it's apt for this article, I guess. So the Zadu Rainbow Mini EV enters market at $4,400 in China. On April 18th, Zadu, I don't even know what the heck this company is, but I guess it's a Chinese company, officially launched its Rainbow Mini EV. Consumers can choose from a total of 5 models with a price range of 31,900 to 43,900 won, or 4,400 to 6,000 US dollars. Look at this thing, by the way. Look at these little things. They look like what were those things called? Those little Oh God, I can't remember what they were. Not the Mini Cooper, but whatever. There was a car just like this for a while here in North America. I always used to think if it ever got in a crash, anybody's in it is dead. But whatever. Anyways, so Zadu was one of the earliest Chinese brands to enter the new energy mini car market, with its first model launched in May 2014, which was later renamed to Zadu D1. Subsequently, Zadu, if I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. Zadu launched the Zadu D2 and Zadu D3, both of which maintained a 3-door and 2-seater layout. However, due to various factors, Zadu gradually faded out of the market until it announced its return in October 23, after completing its capital strategy reorganization. Now, Geely's CEO, Gan, whatever, serves as the chairman of the company. The Zadu Rainbow is available in 7 exterior colors, namely pink, purple, brown, yellow, cyan, green, and brown. You said brown twice. Yeah. So I don't know what's the other color. That I don't know. I don't know what the other color is. Looks like that last one might be like an off-white or something, or gray or something. Either way, ugly. The size of the car measures 3224 by 1515 by 1630 millimeters. I think I went in millimeters. That's weird. I don't know. I don't even know what the math on that is. I don't even know. I have to do the math quick on that. I think it's something like that's not 10 feet. No. I don't know. I have to do the math. And the wheelbase is 2100 millimeters, adopting a 3-door and 4-seat layout. It's small and ugly. Notable design elements include the Big Dipper headlights, carbon fiber external mirrors, Y-shaped lights, and 13-inch or 15-inch. There, how about we go an inch? Roman shield wheel hubcaps, according to the brand. You can see pictures of the inside. It kind of looks like a cheap little Tesla. The cockpit is cute with a pink background featuring a double spoke steering wheel, a 5-inch full LCD instrument panel, and a 9-inch central control car screen. The knob type physical buttons are retained under the central control screen. Looks small and cute enough for a little high school student to be on her cell phone the whole time and crash and die in this thing. Because I don't know how this thing would survive a crash in any way. But other configurations include mobile phone, remote vehicle control, remote vehicle unlocking, remote car search, scheduled charging, and OTA updates. Additionally, Zadu claims that there are more than 20 storage spaces throughout the interior. Yeah, you can store a lip gloss in this one, and you can store a piece of floss in this one. The standard trunk length is 390 millimeters, and the storage volume can be expanded to 1034L by folding down the rear seats. So quick math: 390 centimeters. You go by 10, so now that's 39 or millimeters. I mean, 39 centimeters, which is roughly a foot. Let's call it 15 inches. So you got a 15-inch trunk. It's a big trunk. You can get probably 3 grocery bags in there. The entire series is powered by 20 kilowatt 85 Nm. I don't know what that means, or 30 kilowatt 125 Nm electric motor paired with a lithium ion iron. It says lithium ion. I'm guessing phosphate battery pack supplied by Guangxi High Tech. The battery pack is available in capacities of 9.98 kilowatt hours, or 17.18 kilowatt hours, and 17.3 kilowatt hours, which correspond with a CLTC cruising range of 125 kilometers, 205 kilometers, and 201 kilometers, respectively. So it's got a small range. It's basically just a very small commuter to and from work, I would say. But, I'm not going to read anymore, though. Actually, that's the end anyway. Goofy little car. It doesn't look safe at all. It just looks stupid, but whatever. But it's cheap. If you're looking for something cheap, go back. I'm sure they're still around. I just don't see them as much. Those little e-bikes that people were riding all the time. I'm sure they're a lot less safe. So, hey, go get yourself a little squeeze car and and don't die. Oh, what's up, Static Mouse? Uh, yeah, exactly. I agree with you. The Freedom Convoy, but that wasn't a protest. That was a different thing. They weren't really, for one. Okay, the difference between a protest like those campus protests has nothing to do with them. They don't like the idea of something, so they protest outside of a university, and they try to get them to do things that will is just jump through the hoops that they want. Don't invest in Israel because that might in some way help along their cause of what they're pushing. With the Freedom Convoy, it was these truckers were affected hard by these stupid policies that the Canadian government imposed on them, these vaccine mandates and such. So they were protesting for their livelihoods. So it's a much different thing, and they did it in a good way. They weren't, you know, they weren't shutting down highways and affecting everybody else. It was they marched on Ottawa and they wanted something to happen. And anybody I know that actually went to it will claim or they'll say that the protests weren't really protests. They weren't what the media made them out to be. It was it was like a peaceful sort of march on Ottawa. That's kind of the way we do it in Canada anyway. It's polite protests. We're like saying sorry if we get in your way. It's not the same. These little, I say little, but these university and college students down in the States, they're all entitled little pricks, and they have no idea about anything, and they get this idea to be, they're gonna fight the good fight and protest, and it's just annoying. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't serve anything. Thanks for the comment, Static. I'm gonna get on the next thing here. This is the last and final thing. I'm just barreling through this week. I'm at 37 minutes. I'm gonna get done in about 45 total. All right, here we go. So if you didn't catch this, well, you missed out a little bit. Netflix had the Tom Brady roast live last night. I watched it. I watched it not quite live. I was probably about 45 minutes behind it, but either way, it's pretty much live. It was funny. It was good. These roasts are always pretty good if you've watched any of the previous roasts. But the difference, this one was live, and it just felt like it had some funny moments that you were like, oh yeah, you can see it's live. Like there was one in particular where where Jeff Ross was saying something about Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, and Tom Brady went up in his ear and basically told him to shut up. Like told him that wasn't cool to joke about. Which whatever. I don't think anything's not cool to joke about, but either way, it was funny. All right, I'm going to read this article. This is the Washington Post, so yeah, we know what I think about the Washington Post. They are a dumpster fire, but let's see what they have to say about this. So all the best burns from Netflix's Tom Brady roast. Comedians, former teammates, rivals, and a Kardashian took their best shots at Tom Brady on Sunday night in Netflix's roast of Tom Brady. Yeah, it's like Kim Kardashian. I have no idea why she got up on stage. It was stupid, but yeah, I knew it would be the minute I saw her get up on stage. Whatever. They put some weird people on to do these roasts sometimes. Spewing F-bombs and zingers over more than 3 hours at Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. In the end, Brady proved to be unroastable, as he had promised during a promo for the show, but it wasn't for a lack of trying by, among others, host Kevin Hart, who was hilarious, by the way. Kevin Hart he's really good at riffing, right? So don't give him a script, just let him kind of go off it, and he's good. So Kevin Hart, Nikki Glaser, Kim Kardashian, for some reason, Ben Affleck for obvious reasons. I don't know what that means, just other than the fact that he's a massive New England Patriots fan. And he was weird too, by the way. Former coach Bill Belichick and former teammates Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, and Randy Moss. Brady's long NFL career offered a rich tableau of roastable nuggets. His divorce from Gisele Bunchen, and her jiu-jitsu instructor. Yeah, this was hilarious. So I didn't know about this until as I'm watching and they're making these jokes, I have to look to see what they're talking about. And I didn't realize that she's dating her jiu-jitsu instructor. Oh, poor Brady, man. They were all over that. They were finding ways to throw that in every which way. Spygate, Deflategate, his TB12 diet, and his relationship with his friend, body coach Alex Guerrero, the stink oil salesman that turned Tom into a complete weirdo, as Edelman put it. Brady's journey from 199th draft pick to Sunday's roast began when he replaced injured New England Patriots quarterback Drew Bledsoe in 2001. So it seemed appropriate to let Bledsoe take the first shots. A lot of people assume I have a lot of animosity towards Tom Brady, he said. So I'm here tonight in front of millions of people to tell you they're correct. He was kind of funny. I mean, he was dry, and you don't expect him to be funny. He's a quarterback, so he looks like a prototypical white, tall, Southern quarterback, right? So you wouldn't think he was going to be funny, and you would be right. He wasn't. Here's a rundown of some of the best lines, minus most of the profanity. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it yet and you do want to watch it, maybe put your earmuffs on. This is Moss. Moss, who never won a ring with Brady. I'll tell you what, you deflated. My legacy. I want my ring. Drew Bledsoe was in the freaking hospital, and he has a Super Bowl ring. Nate Ebner, who the F is Nate Ebner? He has 3 Super Bowl rings. Wasn't really funny. It seems funny when you read it, but the Randy Moss was just weird. Gronkowski on Brady and Belichick, noting that both hate fun. You both live and breathe football. Neither of you are married anymore. You're both even divorced from football, and both of you take full credit for the dynasty. The funny thing about Gronkowski and the whole thing is everybody's just making jokes about him being just a big dumbass. So that was kind of funny, and I think he was drunk, so it didn't help him. Belichick. Oh, and by the way, yeah, there's another thing. So Belichick came on, so you'll find that out if you watch it, and he was pretty good. I would have expected it to be pretty bad, but he was pretty good. He was a good sport about all of it. It was this weird sort of thing that, to get them all together, it was almost like they were making amends for different things. It was, get them all into a room. Everybody's roasting everybody, and it kind of seemed like it, maybe started bearing the hatchet a little bit for, especially the firing of Belichick from Kraft, right? So Belichick says, "Really, Tom? Why are all these people so hard on you? Do you miss me?" Patriots owner Robert Kraft spoke of Brady's interest in becoming part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders and his reported feelings about a former teammate. Tom, good luck buying the Raiders. They did your favorite thing for you already. They got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know what the beef was between Jimmy Garoppolo and Tom Brady, but I guess there might have been one. Peyton Manning was hilarious, as he always is. He had some good lines. So Peyton Manning calling Brady a 3-time Super Bowl loser. My golf handicap is 3.4, while Tom's handicap is blowing leads in the Super Bowl to my brother Eli. There's another line. He says, "My kids now excuse themselves to go to the bathroom by saying I have to go take a Brady." It's good. Too bad Eli Manning didn't go, because Eli Manning has some funny stuff. Eli Manning's funny. Him and his Peyton are funny in their when they're riffing on each other. So he would have been funny in this too. But anyways, okay. So let's get past that. Oh, they were talking a lot about Aaron Hernandez and his murder and all that kind of stuff, and concussion protocols and all these different things. So of course they're going to throw all that kind of stuff in there. Some was funny, some wasn't funny. Some was like, some was bad taste, but whatever. Some jokes miss. But this was pretty good. This was, I think Edelman said this. He goes, "Remember when you used to yell at us, look, assholes, the fucking kids down at Foxborough High can make that fucking play." Edelman recalled, "Well, Foxborough High is the only job offer you have. Do your job. More like you need a job, coach." So they were hacking on Belichick pretty good. But he was good. Like I said, he was good. He was a good sport about it. Him and Kraft seemed to make up. They toasted. They had a drink, whatever. A couple weird moments. Ben Affleck was really weird. He came out and I don't know. It was just weird. It seemed like he was ranting. It was odd. I don't know. Obviously Kim Kardashian, weird. Randy Moss, weird. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, everybody was kind of all right. Nikki Glaser was hilarious. She's always good at the roast, so check it out. And obviously, then of course, the way the roasts work. Tom Brady gets up at the end, and yeah, he was good too. The joke writing for him was quite good. So it's definitely worth watching. It's 3 hours, so saddle up, get some popcorn. It's a bit of a huck, but you can skip some of the parts. You could skip all of Kim Kardashian. You can skip, like I said, you can skip what's his face, Ben Affleck. Yeah, there's enough that you can skip through and probably get it down to 2 hours, but definitely worth a watch. I would highly recommend it. All right. Okay, well, 46 minutes. I went a little long with that little review there. But, whatever. Well, hey, thanks for watching. All few of you that jumped in. Thanks for jumping into the convo there, Static Mouse. Now that Joe wasn't here, it was nice to talk to somebody. I feel lonely if I'm just doing this by myself. So I just read. I just get through the stories that I'm going to talk about, and then, I like the interaction. I'd rather there be more interaction with people that are watching. But if you just want to watch and listen to what I have to say and not comment, that's up to you, I guess. All right, well, that's it. If you like the podcast and you're not a subscriber already, hit that subscribe, hit the like, share with friends, comment on the stuff, do all the things, all the engagement. Engagement, that's the thing. That's the key. Engagement is what helps channels like this, small channels like mine. As you can see, I'm just over 300 subs on the channel. So tiny infinitesimal channels that don't mean shit really do well with that kind of engagement. So do engage if you like the channel. If you don't like the channel, cool, that's fine. Maybe engage anyway. Tell me how much you dislike me. That's fine. I like funny comments as well. If you're don't make them lowbrow. Make them good. Make them smart and funny. I laugh at those. The ones where you're just making fun of me in some way. It's it could be funny, I suppose, but most likely not. And check out, if you missed any part of it, check out during the week, Tuesday through Sunday, 5 o'clock. You can catch all the little bits of what I talk about. And again, with those, share, like, comment, all that kind of stuff, all the engagement on those. For anybody who was watching, is watching, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week, unless something better comes along. 7 o'clock on Monday, like always. And until then, again, thanks for watching. I'll see you then.